What's going on, everybody? It's Stock Picks by Tim, and in this video I'm going to talk about 3 stocks that I've been watching lately and I'm likely going to buy this week or in the following weeks. So we're going to look at ChargePoint really fast, we're also going to look at Facebook, and we're going to look at PayPal. I did get out of PayPal last week, but I'm considering it this week depending on some levels on the chart. So let's check out these 3 stocks. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It definitely helps me out there in the YouTube space. And don't forget to check out the Discord, it's free to join. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to check out the links for some free crypto and stocks. Now I do want to mention something here that could be a catalyst coming up, and this is going to be the Fed speech on August 26th. And this is a highly anticipated speech, and it's going to give us an idea of how much borrowing costs may go in terms of raising rates to combat inflation. So you're definitely going to want to tune into this event. Mark it down on your calendar, August 26th. Now looking at ChargePoint here, you'll see that it has been falling off from 15. Seems like it may try to establish a support in this area. I'm going to be looking out this week and seeing if ChargePoint can test this trend line that it just recently broke out of. It had a downtrend reversal here on this downtrend that has been in since 2021. Now zooming into some closer time frames, you'll see that the MACD is just about ready to curl, not there just yet. The RSI is bouncing from oversold, and I do think it's great to DCA into ChargePoint right now. And you know, the higher and higher it gets past $20, the more likely I become a seller. Now if you remember this channel way back, I did say it's a buy as we come down towards that $20 point, and it surprises me that this has come down all the way to $8, $9. And I have been taking advantage of ChargePoint at that price, and will continue to add, especially if we break under 15. You know, if next week we do try to bounce, come back up a little bit, I'll likely just watch it. I definitely have a built out position in ChargePoint, and I did take advantage of these lower prices. So, you know, the higher it goes, the more likely I become a seller, but not until at least $20. I think it definitely can crack 20, and if it does crack 20, it'll probably run even a little bit longer than that. But I will be watching this one, and I don't become a seller until this at least cracks past $20. But do keep in mind that earnings is coming up. They're expecting a little over $100 million in revenue, and honestly, I'm really not too worried about earnings, so I feel perfectly comfortable adding to it. You might want to wait until after earnings. You might want to wait until the beginning of September with ChargePoint. Could definitely be lower than where it's at, but it also could be higher. So I personally see it as a great time to add to ChargePoint. And the more you zoom in, the more it looks like it's trying to establish support right here at 15. It could possibly break it and test this $13 area. But regardless, I do see it as a great add. Next up is going to be Meta, or Facebook stock, Meta Platforms. Now this one right now is kind of in the middle of the zone it's been trending in, and I think it's definitely good for a DCA at this level. Now if you wanted to set a stop loss, you could definitely set a stop loss under 155. I think that would be a great spot to set a stop loss, because it does seem like a pretty strong support. I personally think that of all the blue chips, Facebook or Meta is one of the better buys right now, and I'm here on the 3-month with the 2-hour candles. You'll see that the MACD is still bearish, but the RSI is coming towards oversold. Now one thing that I don't like seeing is that the forward PE is higher than the trailing PE, but regardless of that, they are both well under 20. For growth companies, I think this is a really good PE. And you know, the price to sales isn't all that bad. Yes, 4 is a bit high, but you know, this isn't a Coca-Cola. This is a growth company still. I still think that Facebook has a lot of growth ahead of it still. And looking at the balance sheet, you know, the balance sheet is definitely solid. They've got almost 41 billion in cash, and they only have 17 billion in debt just about. Now, one thing that's definitely concerning with Facebook, and obviously part of the reason it's dropped so much, is you look at their previous earnings and they've been on a decline in revenue literally for the last like 3 to 4 quarters. But going all the way back to their quarter that ended June 2021, they have consistently gotten higher revenue than that. Although their earnings per share, or EPS, has come down a little bit, more in the $2 area instead of the $3 area. I think a lot of these kind of lackluster earnings for Facebook or Meta is due to the fact that we're just in this rough environment. Also, of course, Apple changing their policies for marketing and their security features, and of course the expenses for the metaverse, you know. But I think if any company is going to make it and really make the metaverse mainstream, I think Facebook or Meta is going to be one of them. And of course they do own Oculus, which is a huge VR platform. And I mean, heck, they changed their name to Meta. It's hard for me to not say Facebook, but you know, they changed their name to Meta. They're definitely working on this metaverse. It's likely that we're going to have a few rough quarters, still very, very high expenses as they continue to figure this metaverse out, as they continue to crack the code. But I definitely like Facebook or Meta for the long term, and of all the blue chips, I think this is one of the best picks. A lot of the other blue chips, in my opinion, are a bit overvalued, are a bit toppish. Alright guys, now next up, let's look into PayPal. I want to go into a couple levels here. I did sell it last week, and as a reminder, if you want to see all my buys and sells, definitely check out the Discord, link down below. Would love to have you. Now looking at PayPal, bear with me here. As I've said previously, you know, this has to break $103. We didn't break that. It started coming down. We formed this downwards trend. I did get out of this one right around $101, and I'm considering starting out my position again. I'm personally watching for this to break this $96 area, fill this gap right here at 95, and then it's either gonna bounce off this 95 psychological support, at that point break out of this downtrend, and I will go long, buy some shares or potentially buy calls and scalp them. Otherwise, a potential thing you could do if it breaks 94, better yet on a break of 93.50, in reality up to you, you could go in with a put, because it's very likely if PayPal does break this 93 area, we can come all the way down to about 90. This was just an absolutely huge green skyscraper candle, and it didn't establish any kinds of levels right there. Very likely if we break this level, we're going to come down to 90. And recently a viewer did mention that we do have a gap down here. Very possible we fill that as well, possibly bounce in this mid $70 area, but that's totally up for debate, and it of course does kind of depend on where the market goes, what the market lets PayPal do. But if the market does start going green, I definitely could see PayPal break out of this short little downtrend that it's been in, and at that point I will start adding. And if you do remember, you know, the first time I talked about PayPal, I think I was saying I like it like around $120, $125. You know, since then I was able to average down pretty considerably, and I did make a couple of bucks selling it at this $101 area. But you know, the main reason I did that is just because of the huge kind of bear market rally we've been in. PayPal looked like it was kind of starting to get exhausted, but I'm definitely going to be watching this week and possibly buying PayPal again. But thanks for watching, guys. What are you looking for next week in the market? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much, guys, and take it easy.